we should be good to go. Alright, what's up everybody? This is Mage, and today I'm going to be doing an audio cast of the Season 16 semifinals. They were played early this morning, 1:30 a.m. Eastern, 7:30 a.m. Central Time. It features 4 of our very talented players. In the top left, we're starting with WhoGuess, who's also known as GM. GM has recently won the In Search Free-for-All Freedom Cup, which featured a ton of very good players, so he's absolutely one of our up-and-coming new players. In the top right, we have Lightweight, a heavy favorite in this match probably. He is playing human as well. Easily one of the most feared humans, I should say. It looks like he's going for a pretty standard opening as well. So we've got probably an Archmage from both of them. In the bottom right, we have Wan, who hates humans. The fact that there are 2 humans in this match is probably not going to make him very happy. Most of you probably know him from solo, but he's turned into a great free-for-all player and is learning more every day. And our last player is Seksi, the 2-time FML ladder champion and multiple-time finalist. He is back in the semifinals after a little bit of a tough break going into this, so should be interesting to see. He's starting out with a Demon Hunter, which I think is a very undervalued hero in free-for-all, and I really like that he is going for that. So just going around, it looks like we're getting some pretty standard opening. Archmage with some militia creeping for both Lightweight and GM probably. Typical Fiend, nope, no Fiends, Ghoul, so maybe a DK Ghoul build for Wan, and an Archer with an AOW creeping for Seksi. The map is a modified version of Emerald, and the only difference is these middle 2 spawn points are negated. So there are fixed spawns at the top left, top right, and bottom left. It creates very intense. Wan did indeed scout the middle. He doesn't realize they're fixed positions. But it creates some very intense games that have a lot of potential to be highly micro-filled and a lot less hoarding. They also bring into aspect the typical free-for-all elements, though, because of the fact that with so few gold mines, it's really very important that you manage it well. WhoGuess did lose a peasant to Seksi. He's scout peasant, so Seksi's got a little bit of an experience advantage, but not by much. Archmage with 2 foots and some water tank creeping for both of our human players. And Wan, it looks like, maybe getting ready to try and go ahead and get his early expo here. So Undead getting the first expo is very interesting. And it does look like we have Seksi has not uprooted his Ancient of War yet, so looking for probably 4 archers. Pretty typical for Night Elf. WhoGuess is continuing to just go ahead and get the greens, and we will have Seksi moving in on the orange camp here. Very easy camp, so he should be pretty successful with this, and it'll be good to see an Undead go ahead and get a great early expansion, because they're usually last year. Looking up here, Lightweight has used his militia to creep this, and will have the first expansion on the board, but Wan shouldn't be too far behind. Seksi, it looks like, is going to go ahead and move on to his expansion as well. And WhoGuess is going to go ahead and clear the middle one, which is pretty interesting. A very risky gambit here. That's going to be what Seksi and WhoGuess are going to fight over most often, probably. And it's interesting that he has chosen not to go ahead and take his natural first, and to go for the more tough and confrontational expansion would be the right word, I think. Seksi has successfully cleared his and got his expansion up as well. We do have Wan coming down for this middle expansion. Should be interesting. His micro is going to come into play here. This is a very good expansion if you can go ahead and get this. It is a lot tougher than most of the other ones on the map, but Seksi's coming in for a jack here. Let's see how this goes. Do not believe Seksi actually got that one, and Wan did get the tome. Seksi's going to back off, saying it's not worth it. Probably a wise move on his part. Wan loses a ghoul there, but Wan overall very nice. Going to hit level 3, I think, after this is done, and picks up that Sobi mask on the Death Knight. Lightweight has finished off the middle creep camp over here. Lightweight should be just short of level 3 as well, so both Wan and Lightweight very similar so far. Seksi's going to be right in there as well. and GM is a little bit ahead of both of them. So very even creeping so far by all 4 players. Everybody is doing a very nice job of taking advantage of what they can on this map. And we do have Wan and Lightweight doing a little scouting back and forth here. Lightweight realizes that Wan has already picked off this expansion. So it could be very interesting to see who hits who first and who is going to grab this last side expansion over here, because that's pretty much the most important creep left until we get to the actual red camps here. Interestingly enough, GM has still not creeped his natural expansion, so while other 3 players have their naturals up and Seksi has his middle tree of life going up, WhoGuess is maintaining his first one, although I believe he's going to go ahead and hit his natural. And looking like Lightweight is going to be the one to pick up this extra expansion over here. Not sure where Wan is. Okay, so looks like Wan has hit level 3, and we'll probably go going for this green and may get a jack on Lightweight as well. So we got Seksi and GM are going to be even at 2 expansions apiece. We do have Wan coming in on Lightweight here. This will be very interesting to see what happens. Lightweight does have 1 weak footman. Wan decides to engage him. It does look like he's going to go ahead and engage. Wan could not tell. Alright, Wan just chasing him off. Wan will grab the Shadowcaster here, so that's going to give him the nice item. And we do have a small fight from Seksi and GM over here. Seksi has picked up his Panda as the second hero, very typical. I do believe that GM should be... Ooh, GM is a ways away from hitting tier 2, so Seksi in very good position to capitalize on this. Going to take down this extra footman here, and probably, yep, nice burn on the Archmage, so Archmage not going to be able to get any water elementals going off, and WhoGuess could be in very big trouble here. This is not the position he wants to be. That Fellstalker is going to help out a good bit. Nice base build as well. Is going to be able to do a little bit of trapping on this Demon Hunter here. Seksi's going to back off for now, but really going to hit him hard, and that was not at all what GM wanted, I'm guessing, especially with the massive disadvantage he's at tech-wise. Seksi is just now getting his expansion up. I guess it was out of range earlier, so he's going to have 2 of them going up about the same time. Wan at level 3, Seksi at level 3, and level 1 about halfway through level 1. Lightweight does have expansion up and running here. He is missing his second one. I expect we'll see that soon. Picked up Mountain King as his second hero, though. Very solid choice, and pretty typical for human. GM does have 1 expansion up. Probably going to go ahead and get his natural as a second. Pretty soon, I would guess. He did try to put it up when Seksi denied it, so we'll see if he goes ahead and puts it back up right now or waits on it. Seksi moving back towards GM, maybe trying to take advantage and get a little early game experience. Interesting that nobody yet has gone for these reds up, because they do contain some pretty powerful items. And WhoGuess losing this Fellstalker, retreating it back to his base and realizing, oh crap, may actually need that in a minute. And just looking around the board, we've got 400 gold for Seksi, 800 for WhoGuess, 400 for Lightweight. Lightweight at a very severe wood disadvantage right now. I expect he'll pick that back up momentarily. No Shredder on the map is pretty costly here for most races. And we do have Wan at 600 as well. Wan looking like he may want to try and take on this red camp, but backs off after he sees how massive it is. We'll see if he pulls out any more heroes here. And Seksi does manage to pick up level 2 on his Panda here while stealing that camp. We have Lightweight on the other side of the board here, trying to stir up some trouble, maybe steal a few creep camps here or there. But does indeed back off and is going to be going for this red camp as well, so that could prove to be a great advantage for him if he can pull this off smoothly. Lightweight continuing to go ahead and scout out with his illusions as well. Lightweight can be the first one to try and take a red camp down. We'll see how he goes. Is a pretty tough red camp, although not quite as tough as the other one in my opinion. I expect that he will lose a few footmen here, but Lightweight does have some incredible micro, so maybe he'll be able to pull this off smoothly. Does get the illusion out here. Illusion going down quickly. Down goes one of the footmen here, and boy, this is not a good start for Lightweight. He is not in trouble, I don't want to say, but he is losing these pretty quickly. The Warlock is just very, very powerful here, but it is going down. Let's see if we can get a stun on it. Nice. So takes away that AoE and going to get off and gets an Amulet Spell Shield. That's going to be a very, very crucial item late game, I suspect. Probably the best item that he could have gotten on this one. This Skeletal Orc Champion is looking pretty strong still, and with the Undead Footmen, this could be a lot of a problem. The MK is going to be in a little bit of trouble. It does have a potion of healing, but the Archmage does not have a staff, so Mountain King is looking a little bit weak here. Fortunately, the Archmage is able to summon up the Water Elemental, hopefully get another one here in order to tank it. Lightweight doing a phenomenal job of taking down this creep camp so far. Definitely one of the tougher ones on this map, and boy, these water elementals are just doing a great job, and that Archmage is looking very low. Can Lightweight get it off smoothly here? Nice bolt, and he does pick up the Book of the Dead. Very nice job by Lightweight. Just gets out in the nick of time. Very well done on his part. Does look like we have Wan with some Gargs. He may be thinking about trying to take down this other red camp now. Seksi thinking that he wants it, though, and Wan thinking it's probably not worth it to fight him for it. Wan has picked up his third hero, though, the first one to get to his third hero. We do have Seksi is not yet at tier 3, about halfway there, and let's see how Seksi does on this creep camp. Certainly not an easy one. Going down for these Jungle Stalkers first, which have about 900 hit points. The Dragon Turtle, obviously the toughest creep on the map, or not on the map, but toughest creep in this camp at least. Seksi doing a nice job of taking down the other ones early, gets an abolish off so that he can get that shield away. We do have a little bit of harassment on Lightweight from Wan. Lightweight still very weak from that last creep. Could be interesting to see how he deals with this. Going back to the creep camp here, though, the Dragon Turtle is strong. And a couple of archers going down. Seksi's probably not too terribly upset about that. Dragon Turtle is managing not to do a whole lot of damage right now, but it is certainly up. Here we go. Let's see if Wan's going to come in here and creep jack this, possibly even steal that Dragon Turtle. That would be a great jack and a phenomenal item steal if he can manage it. Here comes the jack, and Seksi's in a very rough position here. Let's see. Oh, Seksi does manage to pick it up, gets the Ice Shard. Not a great item. Would have liked the Infernal better probably, and has to TP out now. Loses a couple of archers and a couple of Dryads to Wan. So very nice creep jack on his part. We do have GM coming over here and taking on Seksi. GM has, let's see, does try to tower him in here, and GM at 400 gold compared to Seksi. That DH goes down. Seksi's at 1500 though, so he should be able to rebound here, but WhoGuess in good position to take him down. Very well played battle by WhoGuess, and if he can tower the middle of the map, then Seksi is not going to be happy about this, I don't believe. Interesting choice of the Mountain Giants here. Let's see how he manages it. Bringing in the bears for a ground army that you don't often see. Looking over here, we do have Lightweight and Wan battling already, so boy, it's been an action-packed start to the game, and this Paladin is looking very low. Let's see, does have the Amulet of Spell Shield on it, though, so gets it away here, and Lich is looking low, Lich is looking low. Lich gets, can he get out, can he get out? Lich not going to get out. Both Lich and the DK looking very low. Nice TP pass, but he doesn't get it off, and the DK is very low right now. Will the DK get away? Does not have a TP. DK is going to get away. Down goes the Dreadlord, though, so 2 hero kills for Lightweight. Very well done on his part. Over here we do have WhoGuess is going to continue to take down Seksi. Seksi is not going to engage him right now. So both GM and Lightweight in very good position here on their half of the map. And he loses the Alkalight, not going to be able to unsummon that Acropolis either. So really a pity he doesn't get that one. Lightweight going to continue to push this on. Let's see, we have 400 gold for Wan, and Lightweight has 74, so Lightweight really going all in on this push here. Does have one expansion up, would like to get a second one up, I'm guessing, but really putting his best foot forward here and seeing if he can't manage to take out Wan right now and get a great lead into this game. We do have Seksi is going to be engaging with WhoGuess momentarily. Big fight coming up here. Dryads are going to play a crucial role with that one mortar being able to do a bunch of damage to them. Really need that abolish, and the bear is going down. Good staff on the bear. Well done by Seksi. Seksi is playing with only 2 heroes right now. Bears are doing a very nice job of taking down these rifles and the spellbreakers. You really get to see the power of the Night Elf ground army here, which is not often showcased in free-for-all. Lightweight continues his push on Wan. Wan is at 70 food with 500 gold right now. Lightweight's got to be right around 80, I suspect. Yep, Lightweight at 74. These few tanks are going to be a very interesting combination here for Wan to fight. Wan has stated explicitly multiple times he does not like fighting the tanks, and he has 0 armor upgrades on these gargoyles. They could go down very quickly, especially if Lightweight continues to upgrade his attacks. We do have Seksi is going to go ahead and push down on GM's expansion over here. Will GM come in to try and save it? Does look like he's going to try and go ahead and pick something off here. So incoming, these Dryads are not in good position. We do have a major fight going on over here as well. Dreadlord looking low, will manage to get saved. Dreadlord is saved, nice job. These gargoyles are all looking very low, though. The tanks are doing a significant amount of damage here. Other fight over here. We do have level 4 for Seksi, and his panda is looking a little bit low here. Gets it back. Seksi's not looking nearly as good in this fight, but that's mostly because the Dryads are so low on mana. Mountain King is getting low. Mountain King is going to go down. Yep, Mountain King goes down, so overall, probably a pretty even fight on here. Going back down here, though, we do have another fight with Wan and Lightweight. Lightweight continues to push into the base. Do have the Stone Form Garg back here, protecting them. Got the Meat Wagon out here. Wan looks to be turning the tide a little bit on this fight, hopefully nuking down some heroes, since that's the Undead's best advantage here. Bears are looking pretty strong over here, showing why they're so good. The armor upgrades are significant, and the Mountain Giant's doing a nice job of allowing the Dryads to go unfocused and continue to push into WhoGuess. Lightweight has indeed gotten his second expansion going up here, it looks like, and Wan's Gargoyles again hanging right over these tanks. Not a good spot for them. Always in trouble when you have that happen. Dreadlord looking low. Dreadlord does get a nice save here. Wan continues to try and pick off these heroes and take them down one by one, pushing with the tanks. Tanks are going to leave Wan in a very difficult position here, especially because Wan does have the orb, so that's good. That will help him out significantly. Seksi has done a nice job of forcing GM to TP away here, so GM losing that expansion. Gargoyle is looking pretty low, need to get in stone form back here. Does have that Frosty out, that's going to help a lot against the tanks if you can pick them off one by one. But still, that is a lot of tanks. No Undead wants to deal with that. So just going around the board really quick while we don't have any fights going on. We do have 77 food, 48 wood, and 420 gold for Lightweight. Wan has 580 gold, 1600 wood, and 77 food. So pretty even fight between those two. Seksi has 80 food, 800 gold, 200 wood, and GM has 71 food, 300 gold, 800 wood. So all in all, pretty even overall. We do have the second expansion for Seksi going up here. Lightweight does have his second expansion up, so he's going to be at a bit of a gold advantage over Wan pretty soon, but Wan does have a little bit of a surplus compared to Seksi. Wan is putting up his second expansion as well, so if he can get that up, then that'll significantly help him, but it does look like Lightweight has seen that going up and going to go ahead and take that down. GM does have a single expansion to Seksi's 1.5. That will be done pretty soon, so Seksi may be building that lead. And Seksi's idea of only going for 2 heroes so far does prove to be pretty effective, especially once that panda hits level 5. Just looking around, so we do have 4-2-1 on GM. Wan has 4-2-1, I believe. Another fight coming in here. 4-1-1, sorry, and Lightweight beginning to try and just pick off these Frostworms. However, Wan able to just use Sleep and get them out of the way pretty quickly. This air tank combination, though, very deadly, very hard to counter. Nice job going invisible on the Paladin. Pretty beautiful stroke there from Lightweight. You don't see that that often. Seksi going to engage here with WhoGuess, gets a beautiful Breath of Fire off on these rifles and casters, really making him go down pretty quickly. Nice amount of Dryads as well. Should be able to use Abolish pretty frequently and get rid of all the casting advantage that's going on right now. WhoGuess is not in a good position at all. Has to TP out here. Wan TP's out as well. So, half the army is forgotten though. Split off here. This is not going to be pretty. Fortunately, does manage to get back in the nick of time. Does have the Lich floating around, though, on the other base. That's really not what you want to see if you're Undead. You want your entire army to be together. And Wan coming in here. This could be a very important fight for both of them. Does get 1 tank down. 4 to go. Can he pull him off? That is a lot of low-looking gargoyles, though. Gonna need to back off a little bit. Lightweight still in very domineering position here. Gets a save on that Dreadlord. Maybe going for taking down this hall soon, though. Boy, those gargoyles are going down very quickly. Still have only 1 armor upgrade. So, Hull is getting very low right now. Gargoyle is getting very low as well. Really not a good position for Wan. Lightweight may be forced to TP out at some point, but the damage is absolutely being done to poor Wan's base. The tanks are dealing a ton of damage. Does hit level 2 on that Lich finally. And it does look like we're going to get a third tank going down here, most likely. Frostworm gets saved, most important part there. So Lightweight ends up trading 3 tanks for the main hall of that base. Also continues to do a nice job of splitting up his army. Has a tank over here taking him down. Really tough if you're undead to deal with this. I mean, there's just not a whole lot of good options. Hopefully he will pull off a gargoyles around here if he needs to. Does get the healing going back up. Can he save this tower? Gets the Nerubian tower upgrade going. Does manage to save it. So damage is done, but Wan does recover. Pandarian Brewmaster over here looking very close to level 5 after these peasants go down. GM is not going to be happy about this. 600 gold, 160 food, and definite disadvantage on the hero levels here. Mortars are going up, the great counter. Really, I mean, you need that typical human solo army almost to counter Seksi at this point, because Seksi has this amazingly effective solo army on this map. Wan is going to go ahead and push down the human here. Lightweight is... Oop, that Frostworm is looking a little low. Frostworm is looking very low. Frostworm goes down. That is a huge loss for Wan. You definitely don't want to see that this early in the game, and you don't want to see that when you're trying to push tanks. You really need that worm in order to slow the tanks down, and Wan is going to go ahead and just decimate, Lightweight is going to go ahead and just decimate Wan's base over here. Lightweight pushing out a full 100 food army. This is not, well, will be soon at least. So Lightweight is going all in right now. If this doesn't work, Lightweight will be out of the game. So putting all his eggs in one basket, let's see if it pays off. Meanwhile, on the other side, Seksi has gotten level 5 on this panda, looking very, very dangerous. And Wan agrees to go ahead and peace with Lightweight. Lightweight going to drop back down to 80. Does have 1,000 gold. So both of them should manage to go ahead and stockpile a little gold, at least. Looking around, Lightweight does have level 4, level 2, and there's that damn Mountain King. Level 3 on the Mountain King, so 4, 3, 2. Wan is going to hit level 5 on his Death Knight after this creep camp, most likely. Level 2 on the Lich, level 2 on the Dreadlord. So they're going to be pretty much even in every part of this game, I would think. Lightweight looking like he's going to go ahead and ignore this piece, though. He is looking very ferocious, and not sure I'd want to be dealing with him right now. Seksi doing a nice job of getting his 3rd expansion up soon. And GM still stuck at 0 expansion. So GM, clearly the weakest player at this point in the game. Had a nice early game, but Seksi is going ahead and counters it very nicely. And really, Seksi is in a very strong position here. Let's see if Lightweight goes ahead and tries to take down some of Seksi's expos, or if he's going to try and gain some free experience from GM. Wan is indeed getting another expansion up here. I expect we'll see Lightweight putting up a new expansion soon as well. And interestingly enough, Lightweight does not have a very good army to counter Seksi right now. I think Seksi's going to be in very good position, especially with this Demon Hunter. I'm not sure that Lightweight realized he had it. Demon Hunter does have a potion of lesser invulnerability in case he needs it. Tank's always a ferocious thing to deal with if need be. Lightweight may go ahead and just TP out after this. Does do a nice job of staffing away his units here. Yep, there we go. TP's out, but we do have GM hitting Seksi as well. So Seksi is going to be forced to try and counter 2 different armies here from 2 different very strong human players. Not what you want to see, and does lose 2 expansions at the same time. GM has a TP and most likely will TP out here. I don't believe he wants to face Seksi straight on, but if Seksi can get some units here, he is only 200 experience away from hitting level 6 on this Demon Hunter, which will be very important. Does not have very good positioning coming into the fight, though. These Dryads are getting hit a little bit too much for his taste. Does manage to turn it around, though, and Seksi will manage to make GM TP out. However, he does not kill a single unit. So Lightweight is still under 80. I believe everybody is at 80 or under 80. Wan has gotten his 2nd expansion up just now. We'll need to go ahead and move some Alkalites over there. Lightweight still has not put up his 2nd expansion, which is kind of interesting. And Wan is at 1,200. Seksi at 4,000, which big gold lead compared to everybody else. GM at 180 does not have any expansions, and Lightweight at 1,200. All the mains are about to run dry. They're all at sub 400 levels except for Seksi, who has smartly moved his 5 wisps into a different expansion. So Wan, GM, and Lightweight all about to have their stuff drained. Going to be most problematic for GM, obviously. He should have just enough gold to go ahead and build his expansion, though. Does have to be careful. If he needs another teleportation, it's going to be Scroll of Teleportation or an expansion. Not going to be able to do either or. Lightweight scouts that shade. Nice job there, and one of the annoying things about having the flying machines around you, it's pretty much impossible for Undead to scout them. And Seksi looking to just go ahead and protect his expansions, probably. GM coming in for another fight. Backs off, though. So just going to go ahead and speed this up a little bit in case there is a lull in the fighting. It's been very, very good so far. However, with the gold mines running this low, I wouldn't be surprised to see a lull. But here we go. Seksi coming in, leading with that Demon Hunter. Demon Hunter looking low, Demon Hunter looking low, Demon Hunter looking low, Demon Hunter looking... Ooh, beautiful staff there. Demon Hunter does make it out just in time. Very well done by Seksi, but GM is in a better position for the fight now, although he is got some Breath of Fire damage going on these Griffin Riders. Keeper of the Grove as the third hero coming in now. Very nice choice by Seksi, especially with everything about to hit level 5 for his other 2 heroes. So Seksi coming in and doing a massive amount of damage with this Pandora and Brewmaster. Going to have to TP out, though. Bear goes down, so not a good fight overall for Seksi, although he did show some very impressive things in it. So Seksi down to 54, not what you want to see, but does keep all of his heroes alive, so absolutely a good part of that fight. And Demon Hunter still pretty close to 6. One more good fight with the Demon Hunter still in it, and he'll be alright. Lightweight has gotten his expansion up again, so we've got Lightweight with 2 expansions. One's going to be drained soon. Wan with 2 expansions. One's going to be drained soon. Seksi with 2 expansions. Both with more gold than the other people's expansions, and GM going to go ahead and get his first remaining expansion back up. Just to show you a little bit of a difference here, so GM still has 8,500 gold in his natural expansion. Lightweight has 600, Wan has 900, Seksi has 2,000, so GM has been massively outgolded for this entire game. Even though he did pick this expansion first, it has not worked out well for him, and he probably wishes he had gone with his natural first or towered up at his expansion a little bit more. Going back up to 2 times speed here. Just looking around, it does look like everybody is, Seksi ballsy here, going for hoarding at 50 food. So everybody does realize it. It would not surprise me if we see Lightweight go ahead and come in here and try and take him out, or GM. Seksi getting a little bit greedy here, I think, and is a possibility that he's going to get punished for it. GM is coming in with his full 80 food army, and Seksi is going to try and defend this expo. We'll see how this goes, and if either Lightweight or Wan come in here and try to clean up. GM is going to try and get his second expansion up now, his part. Seksi does... Nope, Seksi continues to just stay 50. So got to give him props for the balls to do that, but we do have Lightweight incoming, and Lightweight is going to try and make Seksi pay for this, I think. Yep, Lightweight coming in with his tanks, and this is the problem of hoarding at 50. You don't have the army to counter it, and when you need it, it's not there. So Lightweight with this huge tank army. The Keeper of the Grove does get staffed out. Nice job by Seksi taking that away. Tanks aren't going to do much damage to Seksi's army, but they are going to do a ton of damage to his base. Panda looking very low. Panda does TP out here, so very, very poor fight for Seksi due to the massive disadvantage food-wise. Seksi does continue to remain 50, though, and does have a lot of gold so far. I mean, he's got 7,400 to 90 for GM, to 2,000 for Lightweight, to 3,000 for Wan. So Seksi has more gold than the other 3 players combined. However, he is very vulnerable should somebody decide to punish him for it right now. GM is looking to go ahead and pick a fight. He's getting himself all inner fired up, and probably thinking that Seksi's still 50 should be a pretty easy target. We'll see if he goes ahead and hits him or not. speeding it back up to 2 times in the replay. Does look like Wan actually is at 80, but I don't know where the rest of his army is. Up. There we go. Wan is going ahead and scouting around with some guards, probably trying to get a little quick attack in. Lightweight does have his tanks back. They're looking very dangerous. He does have the Paladin with the invisibility on it. Does not have mass DP yet, so not entirely sure why he wants it on it, except to prevent it from getting focused down early. Gets 1 extra heal off at least. And Wan is looking like he might want to pick a fight here. This is very, very dangerous for Wan, I think. So far, Wan and Lightweight continue to get along pretty well, but Wan is definitely at a disadvantage versus these tanks. Does not fight well versus them. Human's just much easier to fight in a human undead battle, and he has level 3, level 2 upgrades as opposed to 3-3. Seksi is indeed going ahead and building up to this Chippo army. Does have level 5, level 1. Level 6 is not far away though. So, should be very interesting. I suspect Seksi's going to go ahead and try and kill off GM here. GM is backed up to 1,000 gold though. So, recovered nicely in this lull in the game. But pretty soon, I suspect we'll see a 3-way. Seksi does manage to get his expansion back up here. And Seksi is going to go ahead and push GM here. It looks like he does have a great army to fight GM, especially with these Bears, Roar, and the Chimeras. If he wants to, I think GM is going to be in a lot of trouble. He may just stay here and try to guard, though. Everybody knows what's going on. Because it's a small map, scouting is so easy. And that's really... scouting is the key of free-for-all. As you can see, this map does force fighting. There is not a terrible lot of gold on it. Both the side expansions are running pretty low here on everything, averaging around 6,000 gold all told. GM is the only one with a natural expansion left, so these gold totals are not going to be that far off of where everything is endgame right now. Wan coming in here to try to do a little bit of damage and pick off a unit or two for Seksi. Does back off though, so just kind of doing a little scouting and trying to be opportunistic if he can. Excuse me. Alright, go ahead and speed this up a little bit. Let's see if we can get to some more action here. It is a little bit boring to watch people just hoard gold, but it is an important part of the free-for-all process. You really want to be able to have as much gold as possible when the end game rolls around. You don't want to be the one stuck with 1,000 gold because you're trying to make plays happen all game. So can't really blame him for this. Although I do realize it is a little bit boring to observe, and I don't have a whole lot of insightful commentary or even non-insightful commentary to go with this. Just looking around the map, we got 6,000, 1,500. Possible fight coming up with Wan and Seksi, 5,000. And 2,000. So Wan looking like he's going to be the least amount of gold, I would think, when it all told is finished. Just going around, so Seksi has 7,000. GM has 2,000. GM is in high upkeep with a 100 food army, though, so GM could be looking to go ahead and break on Seksi right now. We do have Lightweight with 5,500 and Wan with 4,000. And we do have our first encounter between, well, not first, but the first encounter with after this lull. Seksi and GM are fighting. Interesting job of scouting with this invisible Dragonhawk by Lightweight. Very experienced move. Really, again, you want great scouts, and you want to be able to do as much scouting as possible, especially on a small map like this where every bit of gold is going to matter. GM coming in, just going to go ahead and go straight for the tanks here, or for the base. Tanks are looking a little low after that beautiful panda hit. Seksi doing a good job of just cutting this back a little bit, trying to draw GM out. Is going to lose this expansion, I think. but should be able to take down a significant part of GM's army. Seksi is fighting at a disadvantage, 100 food versus 76 food. And GM continues to just plot away and attack him, though. Interesting that Seksi is not trying to at least pick off some units here. Panda is back in his base. Panda is fully manned up again. We are not very far away from seeing the level 6 Demon Hunter. Down goes another... Ooh, nice staff by GM. Good tank usage. 4 tanks have managed to take down that mine relatively quickly, though, so Seksi has no reason not to go hop up to 100 food right now unless he is mining his main. Nope, he's drained his main. So Seksi should be going to 100 food very quickly, and this should become a more even battle within moments. Although Seksi does appear to actually still be at 71 and not being any more. Wan is continuing to do a little bit of harassment on GM, grabbing a level 3 Lich in the process. Very good for him. GM is splitting up his army a little bit, though. Going to be a problem if he... Yep. Seksi is engaging, has noticed the heroes are not around, and picks off a Griffin Rider there. Seksi doing a nice job of just playing actually that kind of Undead-styled hit and run. Bigger fight engagement coming in here. Seksi is doing a nice job of wearing and tearing with that Panda. The tanks are looking very low at this point. Demon Hunter still not level 6, but not far away. Gotta believe it'll be hitting soon. Keeper of the Grove level 1, almost level 2. Panda level 5, that's all you really need. It's doing a great job so far. Burned on the Mountain King, and Paladin coming in does manage to get the heal off. Another nice breath of fire on the tanks. They're looking very low, probably going to have to be staffed out momentarily. In comes this Mountain King looking to steal a kill most likely. Nice job by Lightweight, really taking advantage of the human race again. We'll see if he manages to pull anything off, but the fact that he's just thinking about it is a very, very great testament to Lightweight's skill and why he's such a great player. GM engaging with Lightweight right now, really surprising. Lightweight saying, okay, I can go ahead and take down some easy experience here. But GM having the rest of his peasants being taken down by Seksi. Seksi is indeed up to, nope, still at 71. Keep thinking he's going higher, but he's not. Interestingly enough, Seksi is going towards Lightweight. Not sure if he's trying to engage Lightweight or if he is just looking for GM's army. Does look like he was just looking for GM's army. Probably going to go ahead and go back to GM's base and push him a little bit there because GM is very low on gold. He is 2,000 gold and all of his mines are completely drained. If he can grab this expansion over here, that'd be great for him, but most likely I don't think he'll be able to. Wan has 5k, he is completely mined out. Does have some stuff he can go ahead and unsummon, but 80 food, going to be going to 100 soon. Lightweight does have 7,000, so Lightweight somehow has turned himself into great position, has the most gold momentarily once he finishes off this mine. And while not the strongest heroes, he is in good shape with them. Excuse me. So Seksi going ahead and just picking off a few extra peasants here. Interestingly, did not choose to bring his other heroes back. Probably could have gotten level 6 on the Demon Hunter had he not. Down goes that expansion. Don't think he canceled in time. Actually, he did. He did get the gold refunded. A lot of tanks here, very dangerous, and hippos are getting hit by them. In comes the Demon Hunter, gets a nice burn off here on the Mountain King. Really got to make sure that you do a nice job on that. Does have the potion of vulnerability. Got to get it off. Got to get it off. Got to get it off. There we go. TP's out. Doesn't decide to use the potion of vulnerability. Pretty low hippos here, so no damage. Kind of a null battle there. But Seksi came very close to losing that Demon Hunter. Lightweight continuing to scout out Wan. Gotta believe they're going to be engaging soon. Lightweight's going to want to finish off this mine and then hit, I think. Continues to do a nice job of keeping this Paladin invisible, prevent people from coming in and picking it off, since the Paladin is such a key part of the human army. Seksi looks like he's about to go engage with GM again. We'll see how this confrontation goes. GM is guarding this expansion. Not sure if he's going to try and put another expansion of his own up or just preventing Seksi from doing it. Poor Mountain King is not getting a chance to get any mana on it. Interestingly, that he is going for the Mountain King and not for the Paladin on those burns. You'd think it might be a little more useful to take away the Paladin's mana, but all told, still, Demon Hunter or Mountain King without mana is still nice to see. GM is going to try and go ahead and get this expansion up. Interesting that Wan has not gone up to 100. You think now that he's gotten all his gold mined, he might want to go ahead and break to 100 and try and take Seksi at a disadvantage here. GM is being forced to just TP out all these tanks. There we go. Nice burn on the Paladin. Paladin is down. Paladin down. And we do have one more hit on this tank. Demon Hunter is going to hit level 6 right now, and we've got level 6 Demon Hunter. This is going to turn the tide of the battle, I think, and GM may be out of this game now. Very nice job by Seksi, taking his time, and finally goes ahead and basically eliminates GM. This will be very interesting to see once GM is knocked out of the game, if he gets double teamed by Wan and Lightweight, or if maybe they even come and try and save him. I mean, that's certainly not out of the realm of possibility, although the fourth player usually doesn't get saved on a map like this. I can see a possibility where they might want to try and save GM and do some damage to Seksi. So, nice job getting the Archmage out of harm's way, but he is looking very low, and he is going to burn most of his gold rebuilding here. Lightweight incoming, trying to go ahead and take down Seksi, I gotta believe, thinking that Seksi is the biggest threat, even if it might be Lightweight himself at this point. Seksi does have the heroes here, and Seksi is going to get his expansion back. If he can drain that 4k, then it's going to make him a very fearsome player. Wan probably has the least amount of experience in manipulation, although he's certainly gotten into the game and realized what it is. Interesting to see if Wan will be somebody's tool, or maybe even turn somebody into his tool. Do have some ferocious scouting going on right now. Really terrifying shades and some dragonhawks, you know. Just going around the map, we do have 800 gold left for GM, so that's going to be 100 food. We'll put him out. 6,000 gold for Seksi, so not nearly the leader he was. 4,000 gold for Wan, and we've got 7,500 for Lightweight. Seksi is the only one with a expansion left. That's going to be cause for him to get teamed, most likely with his hero levels. Whoever has the last person to mine, usually that's used to manipulate against them. It does look like we're going to go ahead and see a Lightweight Seksi battle here. Two of our strongest free-for-all players and big team battles, so it will be very interesting to see how they deal with each other. Panda coming in here, going to go ahead and get a massive breath of fire on those tanks, doing a lot of damage. That's what you love to see as a Night Elf. Seksi may get a very good engagement here if he can continue to go ahead and breath of fire the tanks. Wan does look like he's going ahead and trying to get into some action here. Not sure who he's going to hit. And we got GM coming down as well. Yep, again, we've got a little bit of communication time going on, trying to figure out who's doing what and who's going to be the biggest threat. Interestingly enough, while they're talking, though, Seksi's the only one mining right now. So Seksi wants them to continue talking, and that would probably be for the best, for him at least, because he wants to get as much gold as he can here, and this may be his last chance to mine it, because if he starts getting teamed, you can bet they're not going to let him go ahead and continue to mine it. It does look like Wan may be coming in here to go ahead and take down Seksi. Nope. Alright. A little more just walking around, chilling. Lightweight coming in, and Lightweight's going to engage here. Lightweight's going to back off again. So Seksi getting a little bit of a scare at least, and it's all about positioning. Whoever gets this big, there we go. First engagement, let's see if this Panda does live. Panda does have a teleportation scroll. Let's see if he gets out. Nice job TPing by that Panda. And WhoGuess is pulling off the same strategy that Lightweight did earlier with the invisible MK, so would have been nice to see him come in and get that kill steal there, but not going to happen. Seksi's mine is going to be done here. Let's see if he goes ahead and TPs back onto it. Nice job of retraining for the Archmage. He has gone for level 2 Blizzard and level 2 Brilliance Aura now. Something you don't see enough human players do, but it's very useful, very good AoE damage. And in comes the Panda and Demon Hunter combination. Surprisingly, Demon Hunter is still in its main form, has not used Superman yet. I expect we'll see that very soon. Panda is going to get a massive breath of fire on these tanks. So Lightweight forced to staff away many of these tanks and going to go ahead and back off again. Seksi may go ahead and try and finish off GM here, prevent a 3v1 from coming at him. GM is almost certainly going to go for him, so the more people Seksi can take out, the easier it will be later on for him. But it does look like he's just going to go ahead and retreat to his base. Does not have that expansion going any longer, so doesn't have any real incentive to stick around in the middle of the base and not fight in those wells. Massive amount of flying machines incoming for lightweight. Did not see this being built, but could be a very interesting counter here to anybody but Seksi. I mean, not going to want to take this into battle against a panda. However, they could be very effective against undead and human, so those may be left in a corner to just be pulled out a little bit later in the game. We'll see if they play a big factor or not. Seksi going ahead and saying that he's going to just go ahead and attack lightweight. Let's see how this battle goes. Do have an incoming panda attack, so panda doing a massive amount of damage to those tanks again. They do get healed up very quickly. Does look like over here we have GM's going to attack Seksi probably. That'll be very interesting to see as well. Nice job keeping the hippos out of the battle. You don't want those getting hit by the tanks if they don't have to be. And we do have almost level 5 on the Archmage. Archmage gets level 6. That'll be terrifying for everybody but lightweight. Do have the Metamorphosis Superman coming in here, doing chaos damage to the tanks. Absolutely what you want to see if you're elf, not what you want to see if you are the human in this situation. Down goes the tank. Into lightweight's base we go, and GM is just crouching down there, getting ready to attack whenever he can. May go ahead and pull a surprise attack on Seksi's base. We shall see. Flying machines are over here, ready to go. Should lightweight need them to swoop in here. And here we go. GM coming in to go ahead and hit Seksi. Into the base he goes. Nice base setup by Seksi. Wells are going to go down very quickly, though. Surprised he doesn't have more tanks going ahead and focusing those, but nice job getting the Chimera Roost down as well. Heals up very quickly, and Panda coming in here doesn't have much time left on Superman, only a second left. But Panda is going to go ahead and get another big breath of fire off on those tanks soon, I would guess. Inner Fire is active. No more Dryads to go ahead and abolish that normally, so that could play a large role here. Panda is looking a little bit low, does get staff back here, going to go ahead and get healed up. Wan is coming in. Let's see if Wan decides to engage with GM or what the overall outcome of this will be. Seksi continues to go ahead and push. GM has to be very careful since these are the last units he's going to be able to make this game. Everyone he loses is not going to help him out. Does go ahead and TP away. That's going to be costly as well, so not a very good fight here for GM. Seksi makes him pay pretty dearly for what he managed to accomplish there, which wasn't much. Killed a well and almost killed a Chimera Roost and forced that Ancient Wind to be uprooted. So GM not in good position. Lightweight and Seksi both in pretty solid position, and who knows about Wan at this point. He's been carefully staying off the map, off the radar, and could turn out to go well for him should Seksi and Lightweight end up suiciding or something. Wan is playing a very cutesy little game, trying to scout things out. If he gets caught off guard by Seksi, though, that could be in very poor position for him. Wan does have 3,000 gold with a 100 food army. Lightweight has 6,000 gold with a 100 food army. WhoGuess has 800 gold with an 87 food army, and Seksi has 6,000 food with an 80 food army. 6,000 gold with an 80 food army, sorry. And we do have Seksi coming in here to start battering away at GM's base. It does look like Seksi has decided to forego the corrosive attack here, so he is not going to be able to hit anybody with his siege attack. We are going to have a fight between Lightweight and Wan down here, the first one they've had in almost half hour, I think. Very terrifying army if I'm Wan at this point. I think that these flying machines should be able to deal a ton of damage. And Wan is pumping out a few more meat wagons right now. Between the flying machines and the siege engines, Wan is not going to be in good shape here. His base is going to go down very quickly. Wan does not want to see this, I don't think. Wan's going to have to go ahead and try and snipe here, force a TP, do something along those lines, because this is not a good fight for him so far. Meat wagon goes down already. That's really, really not what you want to see. Seksi may be forced to come in and try and save Wan. I'm sure that he doesn't want him going down. Seksi probably doesn't want to fight lightweight 1v1 at this point, and GM's going to be hitting Seksi, not lightweight. So, be interesting to see if Seksi does try to come to the rescue here. Wan's base is going down very quickly. This Black Citadel is going to be almost instantaneously gone once the tanks start focusing on it. Wan just trying to kite around and distract him. Lightweight is chasing him, so doing a nice job so far, but you don't want to leave the human in your base while you pull out of your base. Wan essentially foregoing his base and giving up on that. Seksi is coming in. Seksi going to try and save Wan most likely. Does need him at this point, but that's going to be an 80 versus 100 fight with a hard counter to Seksi's army for the most part. Going to go ahead and just hit some halls and try and make him TP out. Wan's base is essentially done though. Lightweight has done a nice job of getting Wan lulled into a false sense of security and then hitting him hard. So we do have Lightweight still at 98 food, has not lost any food. Wan does have 86 food, so he's got a pretty strong army should he go ahead and need it. And Wan may try and coordinate an attack with Seksi into Lightweight's base. We shall see. GM is also picking up here, deciding to go ahead and hit Seksi's base while he's got the opportunity, I think. Be very interesting to see how this gets dealt with. And we're going to have a TP in here. How is Lightweight going to deal with this? Big TP right in the middle of his base. Not a great job to trap anybody. Does do a nice job of going ahead and TPing these siege tanks out a little bit. So Seksi asking Wan to go ahead and 2v1 him in Lightweight's base. Should be interesting to see how this turns out for Lightweight. He has been teamed down 2v1 very frequently. Part of the problem with playing human and being such a strong player is that this often happens. Good invulnerability on the Paladin. Want to make sure that you can get your healing and spells off here, and you want to make sure he doesn't get mana burned. Paladin is looking very beefy at this point with his amulet spell shield though, and the extra hit points going in. 2v1 inside of Lightweight's base. This is going to be very tough for him to take. Seksi doing a nice job of getting out of the tower range while Wan goes ahead and takes it down. Nice job getting that tank out of it. Seksi is trapped back here. Should he get in a bad position? And Wan coming into the other side of Lightweight though. In come the gyros, and we've got a very chaotic 2v1 going on right now. Seksi is going to go ahead and pull out. Wan's going to be left in Lightweight's base. We'll see how this goes. Can Lightweight manage to fend him off, or will Wan get a bunch of experience here? Lightweight is still level 5. Does manage to force Wan back a little bit. Wan is going to go ahead and TP out here. GM looking to take advantage of Seksi's low hit point food, or sorry, looking to take advantage of his low hit point units, probably. Lightweight trying to encourage GM to go ahead and hit Seksi. Will be very interesting to see how this turns out. Seksi not that weak, especially versus the heroes that GM has. Does get a nice breath of fire off onto GM's army. GM probably going to try and push him in, but going to be a mistake in my opinion. Wan out here trying to cut him off, and Seksi is going to try and go ahead and engage GM now. Doesn't want him to have the fight in his base. Wants to go ahead and use his panda to the most that he can. We do have Wan coming in trying to take out GM. Most likely going to 2v1 GM out of the game so that Lightweight is not able to quickly pick off Wan. It's in Wan's best interest to prevent Seksi from getting hit again. Be very interesting to see how this turns out for GM. Gotta believe Seksi's gonna go ahead and just push him out of the game right now, but don't know that for sure. So we have Seksi over here coming in. We got Wan on the side. It does look like they're going 2v1 Lightweight here. Be very interesting to see how the human holds up. Human is, of course, very powerful, and Lightweight is easily one of the best players in free-for-all. So, should be very exciting battle coming up, and it'll be very interesting to see how coordinated they are, and should one of them turn on the other. I think that Wan may go ahead and try to stab Seksi in the back at some point if Lightweight gets too weak. Lightweight may also engage Seksi or Wan early on though and prevent the 2v1 from ever happening. So that'll be interesting to see as well. Lots of interesting things going on, and sorry about that, my phone is blowing up. Give me 1 second to mute that. There we go. So we do have Seksi in here going ahead and getting the first hit on Lightweight with Wan on the side. Seksi may try and get Wan to take a lot of the damage for him. That Panda coming in. Seksi does not have very many units in here, has left his hippos behind, and not even going to try and fight the air with his hippos. Gargs are going to be the ones that are damaged greatly by these tanks. Only 3 chimeras in here with 3 staffs on his heroes, so nice job by Seksi, only bringing in stuff that he knows he can get out. This Panda is looking very low, though. Panda is going to be surrounded. Panda is going to go down. Nice ultimate from the Panda, just barely got it off. Very well played on Seksi's part there. I did not see that he had the potion and was pretty sure that he was going to have it die. Wan has a ton of Frostworms going on now. This could be very problematic for him. We do have WhoGuess coming in to go ahead and hit Seksi now, so Seksi's going to go ahead and have to back off here a little bit, take him down, and Seksi is walking the rest of his army because he does not have a TP on it. So Seksi is actually going to end up being very hurt by this. Just the tanks coming in and hitting his moon wells, that's really pretty costly if you are Night Elf, not even trying to focus anything else down, just taking those down as quickly as possible. The fact that Seksi has to walk the remainder of his army over here is very, very problematic for him. Does TP out, saves 2 of those tanks. Going to go ahead and back off here. No reason to commit anymore. So Lightweight going ahead, knows that Seksi is back at his base with GM. GM does get his Archmage entangled, does have a potion of vulnerability and a heal, but there is no scroll of teleportation on any of the heroes. Does a good job just getting this off, but we are going to be able to chase this Paladin down. Paladin does not have anything to protect it, such as a potion of vulnerability, and it's only level 1. Does have boots on it, may get away here. Looking very low, though. Burn on it would kill it. We do have Lightweight going ahead and engaging with Wan. Paladin does get away. So Wan is not in good position here. Doesn't have a whole lot he can do to protect his base right now. Needs to get Lightweight into an open space to fight him. You don't want to be fighting in your base if you're undead. That means you're already halfway to losing the battle. Seksi going ahead and looking for Lightweight. Seksi obviously thinking Lightweight is the biggest disadvantage here. So, that Lightweight is the biggest threat. As you can see, I'm operating on an only 4-hour sleep, and that makes me a little bit retarded. At least I'll go ahead and use that excuse. Maybe I'm just a terrible commentator in general. But we do have Lightweight's 100 food army, so still 87. Lightweight, interestingly enough, actually food blocked at 78, so this could prove to be a pretty significant problem for him should he need to recommit and redo his army. Archmage is not too far away from hitting level 6. When that happens, that should be very interesting. GM just maintaining his 81 food, 200 gold. Somewhat of a non-factor, but could pull off a upset win should everybody suicide themselves against Lightweight. Lightweight still at 3,500 gold. Seksi is at 5,000 gold, so Lightweight obviously losing a lot more gold in these fights than Seksi is, mostly because Seksi is not committing very much of his army. That Demon Hunter is looking a little bit low there. Is getting chased back. Wan doing a nice job of coming in here and just killing these tanks bit by bit. Obviously what he fears most, and will be very interesting heroes to nuke everything. Lightweight, not a whole lot he can do. This is a very tough 2v1 fight when you can't build much of an army. Wan presumably thinks that this is Seksi's last army. This would be a great chance for Wan to backstab Seksi. If he could just nuke that Demon Hunter down, it would turn everything in the game against Seksi. Does look like this Demon Hunter is going to be pretty low. Demon Hunter goes down, does not manage to save it. Lightweight does a nice job of tanking that down. So here we go. Lightweight is looking pretty low on his units. Pretty tough 2v1. GM coming in to go ahead and take down some more of Seksi's base. Seksi does not have a TP. Seksi has level 6, level 3. Does not have his Demon Hunter alive. May have to rebuy it. GM doing a good job of coming in here and managing to take down all of these Moonwells. Seksi is at 40 food lock. This is really, really not a good position for Seksi to be in. Lightweight telling GM to go ahead, continue this, and blast him down. Seksi is going to lose another Moonwell. Could lose both of these Moonwells before all is told and done. If this altar is taken down, that's going to be terrible for him. is going to have to get healed and TP away here, or staff out. And that's looking pretty low. Got a staff on the Paladin, not sure why. There we go, Paladin gets it away. So all in a quick turn of the swoop here. Seksi may have 5,000 gold, but he is going to need a lot of it to rebuy everything. May just decide to play dead the entire time. We shall see. Seksi has 3,000 gold, does have 72 food block, but going to go ahead and rebuild some of that. A lot of it is in gyros, though, which is kind of unfortunate for him. Eventually just getting them healed one by one, but that's going to be very tough against the Panda. Seksi is starting to manip, saying that he is almost dead. Wan is at 9360, so really at this point these are very close to our last armies. Nobody's going to be rebuilding a whole lot, and this could come down to a pretty exciting finish here. I know that the players are not a huge fan of this map for this game at least. However, most of the time it's not the map, it's the players. I mean, they're the ones that have been sitting around letting people drain the rest of the gold. We have had many exciting games in this map, and I continue to be a big fan of it. Wan coming in here to try and pick off some of Lightweight's units here. Lightweight does have his tanks pumping out here. Probably the best choice for him once that level 6 Archmage rolls about, and it's going to be an entirely different story most likely. Wan continues back up a little bit. We do have GM has 3 tanks here, so he could do a bit more damage to Seksi if need be, but he's going in and pretty much just going with invisible heroes, which Seksi is not scouting. Seksi is up to 60 food again. Is rebuilding Moonwells back here, so he's going to be able to rebuild his army, probably get up to 100 food one more time. Seksi is going to go ahead and try and finish off GM here. Probably the smart move on his part. GM has been doing a lot of damage to him, and he can probably convince Wan to 2v1 Lightweight out, as much as I don't want to see that because Lightweight has been playing absolutely brilliantly lately and absolutely deserves to be in the finals as much as anybody currently. Nice breath of fire coming in from the Panda. And this is not going to be a good fight for GM. GM has been doing a lot of damage to... GM has been doing a lot of damage to Seksi's base, but he has not come close to taking him in a straight-up fight recently. While Seksi is busy, Wan is going ahead and being hit by Lightweight. Lightweight is taking complete advantage of the fact that Seksi and GM are tangled up. GM is pretty much dead, however, Seksi does not have a good way to get over to Wan, so Lightweight going to be able to do a lot of damage here, taking down the base. He could be completely hauled out of this game. Does have one more Necropolis over there, but I could easily see Lightweight just completely killing Wan and taking him out without ever needing to fight that massive army. If that happens, then Seksi is going to be in a lot of trouble because his base is going to go down very quickly in much the same manner. We do have Wan coming in here realizing he's in trouble. Seksi's going to come in, and they're going to try and manage to get 2v1 on Lightweight again. Archmage needs 110 experience to get himself to that level 6. I know I keep mentioning it, but that's going to be a crucial moment. Seksi healing himself up here. And Seksi and Wan getting into a little bit of a lover spat. Didn't fight each other much this game, but Wan obviously wants Seksi to help him out a little bit. Rightfully so, realizing Lightweight will probably roll over Seksi at this point. However, Seksi does have a good amount of gold and has great heroes, so if Seksi can manage to pull off a very good Night Elf versus human fight, then maybe he's feeling pretty confident, but Seksi most likely would be 2v1 down. Lightweight does not realize where that last Necropolis is, I don't think. We shall see. Is sending tanks in. Let's see if he goes ahead and ignores it. Smart move here is to just completely ignore the army and move his tanks down and just go ahead and attack move that Necropolis. Wan is kiting a little bit too much, getting a little too cute. If he manages to... Alright, and we are getting the big fight here. It is all Wan can do is try to take him down and get get Lightweight teamed out. However, not going well for Wan. Those gargoyles are all looking awfully low. Is going to try and pull it back to the health mountain there. The health fountain there. Lots of tanking, lots of flying machines. This is not a good fight for Wan. Wan is going down. Can we get a nuke off on the Death Knight? Death Knight does not have a scroll of teleportation on it, and should be able to go ahead and take some of this stuff down with the Paladin momentarily. So we have Wan is dead, GM is going to be dead momentarily, Archmage is level 6, Mountain King is level 5. Can this manage to go ahead and get himself out of trouble? Seksi versus Lightweight, 1v1 essentially. GM does have a minor army here, maybe can pull off a hidden victory. Certainly weirder things have happened, but we shall see. Seksi's level 6, gonna go ahead and get this ultimate off on the Demon Hunter, I would presume. Not yet, at least. So here we go. Seksi's big fight coming in. Lightweight continuing to move these tanks in, trying to take out the Gargs and Hippos. Seksi doing a nice job of kiting back. And Seksi is trying to point out that Lightweight is the strongest person right now. Lightweight is indeed the strongest person right now. Nice staff on it. GM is not going to buy that, and Lightweight's already faced 2v1 for a lot of the game, so you can't really blame Lightweight for not wanting to be teamed anymore. Do have a little bit of long-range mining going on. Seksi may try and finish off GM at this point. Would be a smart move. Looking around, I'm trying to see if I see any critters in Seksi's base anywhere. I'm fully expecting an invisible TP coming in or something. We do have a critter over here, crab maybe. Interestingly enough, Seksi is walking right by Wan's army. Seksi does have level 3 on the Keeper of the Grove. He could get a lot of experience. Said he lost the entire army to Lightweight, which he didn't. So at this point, I think it's just about over. Lightweight has played a phenomenal game so far. I gotta believe he gets this win. Seksi played very well. Is going to go ahead and get a lot of more experience here, build himself up to level 5. But at this point, I don't think that Seksi has an army that's going to be able to take down Lightweight. I think that mass teleportation is going to prove to be a real bitch of a move against Seksi's base, and I don't think GM is going to help Seksi out. Seksi has certainly had his shots this game. He's played very well early on, but just not managed to get those human versus night elf fights going well, which is very tough as a night elf. I'm certainly nowhere near Seksi's level. However, I absolutely hate facing tanks. And without that Priest of the Moon for the Invisible Owl Scout, it's very hard to manage to properly counter both tanks and everything else. When you're getting hit by 2 people at the same time, or hitting one person getting hit by another person, the tanks take out your stuff very quickly. Here we go. Paladin Invisible going in. Seksi can go ahead and try and hit Lightweight. Let's see if Lightweight TPs to his base first. Lightweight is going to go ahead and use mass TP. Not sure if he knows that Seksi is right at his base, but Seksi is right at his base. What's GM going to do here? So here we go. Lightweight's coming back in. Lightweight does have 1,000 gold. Seksi does have 2,000 gold, so gold advantage goes to Seksi. Heroes are about even, I would say. 665 versus 654. Mass TP is in effect, but the Panda continues to do a lot of damage here. Let's see if he can manage to drain some of its mana. Panda is going to get staffed out here. So not losing a whole lot, but Lightweight coming in with a very strong army. And we do have Panda going to defend his base. GM is going to continue to do a little bit of damage to Seksi's base. Doesn't get a whole lot done here. Going to go ahead and staff out both of these, I believe. We shall see. And here we go. Another staff out by the Demon Hunter. And down goes this tank. So big means of GM actually being able to do damage was those tanks. Without them, he's not going to be able to do much. I am afraid that we may get Seksi just unwilling to leave his base. If that happens, that could continue to make this game a little bit longer. It doesn't look like there's too much time left on the replay, so hopefully we'll get one big exciting battle to go ahead and decide the outcome of the game. Looking over here, somebody did ping. Lightweight does have a peasant going on. Pretty good for mass TP. GM is doing a nice job of scouting invisibly. Flying machines coming in. Paladin is invisible. For some reason, not going into Seksi's base, though, would be very shocked not to see Seksi or Lightweight go ahead and mass TP. There we go. Big mass TP right into Seksi's base. Hate to see that as a night elf. Love to see that as a human. Very nice play by Lightweight. Seksi just not able to scout it. And does get his ultimate off. Panda is blocked back here, not doing any damage. Lightweight in great position here. Lightweight can go ahead and TP back out. Very well played by Lightweight in that position. And Seksi, that's gotta hurt if you're in his shoes. Is food capped to 80 again. GM coming in here. Not sure what GM's trying to do, but not going to work out well for him, I don't believe. Is going to lose most of these Griffins probably. I don't see a actual scroll of teleportation on any of his units. Depends if he chases. So Lightweight is down, does not have a main. Or Seksi, sorry. Lightweight does have some gyros over here. Seksi does have a wisp over here. Should probably rebuild a main at some point. But this is going to be very tough for Seksi to get himself out of. Just looking around, I don't see any units. I do see a Hermit Crab over here. Could be very interesting to see if this mass teleportation comes in. Seksi has one tree of life left. If that goes down, that could be very... Yep, there it is. Incoming mass teleportation. Lightweight going to go ahead and take down this main of Seksi. Seksi is going to be in very bad position here. Seksi is TPing in. Let's see if he manages to get there in time. Is going to get himself in time. How is this fight going to go? So Seksi does have himself a very good position, or very bad position, sorry. Does manage to save it. Down goes that hall. This is going to be GG for Seksi. Seksi is going to be knocked out of this game, I do believe, and all these Chimeras are forced to get back here. Good, very good Blizzard by the Archmage in here. Keeper of the Grove is looking very low. Down goes that Demon Hunter. Demon Hunter is dead. Down goes the Demon Hunter. Keeper of the Grove is going to be up next, and that's GG. Good game from Seksi. Lightweight is going to advance on here. GM coming in. Well, maybe GM can finish off Seksi or something. We shall see. Lightweight going to go ahead and get out. Let GM try and finish anything up here. But that's got to be just about everything, I think. Lightweight does have 600 gold left, enough to do a few more scrolls of teleportation if he needs it. Seksi goes ahead and rebuilds his Tree of Life. Says GG, but not going to exit out of it quite yet. Not going down without a fight. And WhoGuess has 200 gold. Not really sure what he's doing. He's just kind of chilling about everything. Lightweight continues to have some good scouts over here. And in comes this mass teleportation again. Sorry, I missed what it TP'd onto, but I'm guessing it was another critter. Down goes that hall as well. And, yep, so, again, we see the power of just how good mass teleportation can be. GM has some hidden grifts going around, but don't think those are going to come into play. I suspect that he is just going to go ahead and leave at some point. Do have that Hermit Crab down there again. I guess it has not been killed. So that's going to be well played on Lightweight's part. Lightweight coming in with... Oh, there we go. Has managed to scout it. One of these is probably Lightweight's then. Does look like we got a canceled mass teleportation, though, which is kind of interesting. There we go. In come the tanks. Down goes that Moonwell. GM doing a little bit of damage to Seksi, just going ahead and suiciding him. That's GG. Lightweight will be our fourth finalist. A very well-deserved game. Very well played. And Lightweight has broken his streak. Never won a semifinals game before now, but here we go. Lightweight will be in the finals. Seksi overall first in score. Had a fantastic early game. Really played GM down well. But had a little bit of a rough later game. Had a very heavy over-the-top manipulation style. Possibly needed. I mean, Lightweight clearly showed yet again that he is just a fantastic free-for-all player. A lot of the times in the past he has gotten beaten by the 2v1. So it was nice to see him recover here and beat the 2v1. Wan played a solid game. Did a little bit too much sitting around, I think. I know it's tough for a free solo player to figure out that right balance there. I mean, he was losing to Lightweight early game, so you can't blame him for taking the peace treaty. However, while you don't want to be purely Rambo-styled solo, you also don't want to let somebody like Lightweight hoard up all that gold. It resulted in Wan having some low hero levels. Wan had to know that Lightweight was going to create mass tanks at some point, and Wan knows that he doesn't deal well with mass tanks. GM just had a bit of a rough game. I think it started way early when he decided to go for the middle expansion. I mean, that took a lot of time to get up. He lost a lot of gold when it went down relatively early. He probably should have gone for his natural first. And then when he was fighting Seksi, he was just at a gold disadvantage the entire time. Aside from that, he had a pretty solid early game, but Seksi just pretty much tomed him from the first part on, and when that happens, there's not a whole lot you can do. Overall, I think this is a pretty nice game. I know that the players complained about the map a good bit. I really do disagree with that. I think that the map is fine. I think it was somewhat of the play style here. I mean, it's a semifinals. Nobody wants to lose. I can certainly understand the playing it safe rather than sorry. However, I would like to point out that this was only an hour and 30-minute game. We've had games that have gone on for 3.5, 4 hours before in semifinals because of that play style. Or worse yet, 5-hour finals games with people just hoarding up and towering. The way that this map is designed, the lack of tons of gold mines and stuff means that we're not going to see mass towers, which is always a very nice thing for the observer point of view, at least, because nothing is worse than seeing people sit behind their towers the entire time. We did see people just piece and pretty much drain out their mines. However, if this was a map like Gold Rush and we did that, then that would take pretty much forever, and I'd probably still be halfway through this game, or I would have gone to bed and just left it on. And I think it had a lot of really nice moments. I mean, the fights early on were great, and the fight at the end was very nice. Lightweight proved that mass teleportation is just such a deadly tool. And again, hats off to Lightweight. I think Seksi played very well as well, but just not quite as well as he could have. I mean, as a Night Elf, I know how hard it is to take down a human. I'd be interested to see what he thinks he should have done differently in the game. I think that he probably managed to annoy GM a little much by continuing to hit him all game, but again, that's how Seksi got his great hero levels. If you look at the resources here, gold mined most goes to Lightweight. GM lost the most gold to upkeep, though. Overall, it's pretty even. I mean, we've got 43 mine total for Lightweight. We've got 39 for Seksi, 39 for Wan, and 41, interestingly, for GM. GM did lose 12,000 to upkeep, though, and while that was only 3,000 more than the Wan, 4,000 more than Seksi, and 2,000 more than Lightweight, on a map like this, that really does make a big difference. So overall, very nice game. Congratulations to Lightweight. Our finals will be coming up soon. You can find out more information about the Free-For-All Masters League by going to freeforallmasters.net. You can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/freeforallmasters. And if you're watching this on Twitch, make sure to subscribe to us. This is Mage. Have a nice night. Signing off.